Restoration is brought to you by
Darling, find your beautiful.
It's a good day, every day.
Nestle, good food, good life.
Hisense, everyday prices for everyday people.
Yes, extra long sanitary pad for extra comfort.
We got yes protection.
It is another beautiful week, and we are thankful to God Almighty for how far He has brought us, so far as His mercies and guidance and protections are concerned. This is Restoration. I am Stacey. Let's go take a word from our sponsors. Restoration.
Me? Let's go. I'ma keep winning till the world stops spinning. I'ma keep winning till the world stops spinning. I'ma keep winning till the world stops spinning. I'ma keep winning till the world stops. Independent women, let's go. Keep up on me, come on. Winning till the world stops spinning. Keep up on me, come on, let's go. I'ma keep winning till the world stops spinning. Independent women, come on, now let's get it. I'ma keep winning till the world stops spinning. Africa, you feel me? Come on, now let's get it.
New styles from Darling, find your beautiful.
GTP, timeless.
Breakfast good day, every day.
Nestle, good food, good life.
This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
We are a people of choice and preference. Our choices determines the quality of our lives. Our preferences depends on vast reasons. Hisense has all the reasons.
Hisense Inverter Fridge is very elegant. Efficient cooling system that keep your food fresher.
Hisense means quality. Long-lasting quality.
Hisense AC is energy efficient. It's super chill and it does not make noise. Watch all your seasonal football matches on Hisense TV. Only Hisense gives you 5 years warranty. Hisense everyday prices for everyday people.
Hisense. Life reimagined.
Breakfast good day, every day.
Nestle, good food, good life.
This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
I remember the days I just couldn't go to the gym because it was that time of the month. Yas extra long sanitary pad took the worry away. Easy.
Yes, comfort, I got yes, confidence, I got yes.
The new Yas extra long sanitary pad is the joy of every woman. It is extra absorbent and fits perfect. Don't allow anything to hold you back when it's that time.
Wow.
Yes.
Feel confident, stay fresh.
Hi. Is it supposed to be that time of the month? Yes.
I got yes, confidence, I got
Yes.
we got yes, protection.
Yas extra long sanitary pad for extra comfort.
We got Yas protection.
Breakfast good day, every day.
Nestle. Good food, good life.
This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
And we are proudly supported by La Palm Royal Beach Hotel, Hoochcon and Choco Flakes, Jim Ray Estate. And when I talk about Jim Ray Estate, I really get excited because there is nothing like living a life without plans for the future. So Jim Ray is giving you the opportunity to own lands in Accra. So we have lands at the West Palm Hills, which is 15 minutes drive from Kaswa. And what Jim Ray is doing for you is if you buy 2 plots of land, they give you 1 plot for free. So it's buy 2, get 1 for free. Call. Tell them Stacy asked me to call. You never know, maybe I know my sign about Kwancho Akahom. And a very big thank you going out to GTP for my fabric, Ophelia of ABS Collection, Danceman Zodia. Thank you very much for those beautiful outfits. To GH Beauty Artistry, thank you for my makeup and that of my guest. And of course, Habiba Locks for my hair. And my shoes are proudly by Stacy's Boutique GH. I believe greatness does not just happen by chance. It happens with a lot of preparation, a lot of nurturing, and a lot of self-discipline. Our guest today is a true definition of all the character that I've mentioned earlier. Please, let's welcome our guest for today, Stefanie Benson. How you doing?
I'm not too bad at all.
You see, when I saw you for a moment, I was like, is Janet Jackson in town? How come you look so much like Janet? I mean,
I walked in, I think I heard one of the children say, somebody said, who is she? And then the other one says, Janet Jackson. I said, boy. I wasn't sure to say
Are you related in any way?
No, I wish.
You know,
then I'll have all the money they have, but
But how have you been doing generally?
I've been doing really well, actually. You see, I'm like, November would be 2 years clear of cancer, so I'm really very happy. I'm like in cloud 9.
Wow, we thank God for that. I'm going to ask you something most people might not have asked you. I know the Ejapons are from a very good home.
Yes.
And you are all girls. You and your sisters.
Yes.
I want to find out, growing up with all these girls, how come you are quite different from the rest?
I've been different since I was old enough to walk because see, I've always been the type of person who doesn't hold back. So growing up, it used to get me into a lot of trouble because, if you come near me and I don't like you, I'll let you know I don't like you. So, and I wouldn't even shake your hand. So when we would go to Kumasi, my mother would take us to Kumasi. The elders will never come near me because they used to say, "Hey, I mean, can we speak it? So I don't know. I think I've always been like this. My mother was quite similar, but she was a bit more refined than I am because she became sort of queen mother. So I think she had to hold back a lot. But in her early years, she was very much like me. So I've always been like this. So when I was sent away to England at the age of it was between the ages of 10 and 12, we were in Switzerland, my older sister and I. And then at the age of 13, 14, I went to the UK and they left me alone. So it was not easy because I felt that I'd done something wrong at that time.
Neglected.
I just felt a little neglected because my sisters were still here and I was the one who was sent away. So I felt like the naughty girl who's been sent away. So,
I mean, for a Ghanaian child to be sent away to London, I mean, and your punishments out back in the days.
Oh, it was a punishment for me because my father was alive and just before I left, and he died when I got to England. So he died 6 months while I was in England, and that was the worst because I was so close to my father. And we had a really wonderful life here because my father, was not. We went from, we're from an amazing family.
You're from a rich home. I mean, yeah, let's just say it.
Yeah. So it was, going to England. My uncle was not like my father.
Okay.
Although he was very wealthy, very, very wealthy, you know, the house was beautiful and whatnot, but I wasn't treated as one of them. You know, it's like, when going to a house in here, your mother sends you away to your aunt's house, and then you go and nobody likes you, and you're having to do everything for them, like cleaning, whatever. So you if you're sitting here, you might think, oh great, you know, she's gone abroad and it's all hunky-dory, and it wasn't for me at all. I mean, there'll be times when I'll be all by myself up in my uncle made a room for me in the loft. I felt like Cinderella, bloody hell. But yeah, and I would be there by myself, and my cousins were not really, I don't know, they didn't like me. So I started to think it was about
because
me.
you were too vocal?
I think probably because I don't care much for people who don't. If you don't like me, I wouldn't spend time with you.
Okay.
I'm quite comfortable sitting in my room and reading. So as much as I love people, I read a lot. I mean, if you don't like me, it's fine. You know, it's like, be on your way. It's okay. So I would read a lot. And my uncle loved me. I mean, he loved me. So he bought me a piano. And he knew I played the piano from the age of 3. And I used to play it all the time and just sit and mind my own business and read. So it was not easy. So you guys, when you say, oh, I can't be very fine. It's not always that case, you know. Don't let these people come and lie to you. These people, they come and they go, I can't breach you, or your security guard will.
So how was Daddy's death announced to you?
That was tough. My uncle called me one morning. It was like 6 o'clock in the morning, and he called me down, and I went to his room, and I used to do everything for him. In the morning, I'd put cream in his hair. He was so vain. Put cream in his hair, cut his oranges. You know, I love my uncle, and I knew he loved me. And he called me at 6 o'clock in the morning. He said, Akuya, I say, uncle, I say, menya call say, upapeu.
Oh,
and
just like that?
Just like that. And I stood there, and I was in shock. And he said, and two was okay. That day, he thought I might want to go and spend time with my aunt, or my mother wasn't in town, and I'm thinking, okay, so where do I want to go? I don't know. Can I go back home? And to Ghana, and he says I should go to my one of my sisters, because he wasn't the lover. He didn't show love. He didn't, he wouldn't.
Hug.
Yeah, I didn't get a hug. I didn't get a kiss. I didn't get, are you okay? It was like Father's Day. So I went to my aunt, actually, and I sat with her, and I always was the protector of my sisters. Was it number 2? I don't know, many a day. I say, if you cross my sisters, I'll beat the hell out of you in a second. So I mean, I protected all of them all the time, all through school, because I went to Holy Child School. I almost got expelled once because I beat somebody so bad, because they slapped my sister, my older sister. And I saw her crying. I'm thinking, why are you crying? And they told me, so I went to beat her. So I almost got expelled.
Wow.
If it was for my father, I would have been like, so yeah. And they took her to hospital. But I'm sort of a little bit of a tomboy. You guys probably don't see that. I'm a tomboy. It's just, So I just went to my aunt's, and I sat there, and then my mother flew in like a week later, and then flew us to Ghana, and we buried my father. And I went back. I mean, it's like crazy. And they brought me straight back.
How difficult was the whole period? Flying back, you left Ghana with a healthy father, and you come back and he's lifeless, and you have to watch him being put in the ground.
Yeah.
For that age.
Yeah, 14. I saw him just, lying there, and my father, we were really, really close. I mean, he taught me how to play the piano from the age of 3. So, and he was old though. I mean, although we didn't see that he was really old, because it's your father. He was 84 when he died. So he had other children with 17, and my mother had the last 5. My mother was very young. So seeing my father there, it was really hard, because he was such a vibrant man. And anyway, I give him a hug, I give him a kiss, and they're all looking like me, like, yeah, see a kind, but we on yet. So I was sort of like, at one point they had him on the bed, and I went to just lie next to him, and they were all looking at me thinking, oh. Yeah, so I was actually quite happy. They thought I was, some famous we were before.
Wow.
So I wanted to scare them more. Come and take me off. But yeah, I think, it was hard. And they brought me straight back after the funeral to the UK. And I was 17 when I met my husband, working there. And he thought I was older because I always act very older and sort of really mature. And he'd ask me out and I said, nah. I would say no. For 4 years, he kept persisting. So pathetic. But, in the end, so I was 20 when he asked me for a date. And I said, okay, and I didn't turn up.
Oh,
and then
you stood him up.
I stood him up. I stood him up like 2 or 3 times. It was like, I'm thinking, I'm Bernice with me. But he managed to get it, he managed to get lucky. And when we went on our first date when I was 21, 6 months later, he asked me to marry him. And we got married and that was it.
Wow.
Yeah. And 30 years later, and 5 children.
Wow. You've done well. So at what point did you lose your mom?
Yeah. Whew. I lost my mom when I was 26 after number 3. My son was the spitting image of my mother.
Wow.
So my mother just absolutely adored him. She didn't have any boys, so, so I was 26, my mother had cancer. She had cancer prior to that when she gave me away. But she didn't tell us. Nothing. But I saw that, she changed. My mother had long, curly hair. She was, beautiful. And it was all her hair, And she was just stunning. And then I remember before I got married, I picked her up at the airport obviously to give me away. And I saw her and she was really bloated. And I looked at her and I said, Mom, is everything okay? She went, yeah, I'm fine. The whole Ghanaian thing, let me just keep everything. And she said nothing. And then she gave me away. And then I realized she was deteriorating. She went back to Ghana and then came back again for chemotherapy. And that's when I found out. Because my aunt called me and said Mom was feeling sick. I think I'd gone to see her and she was vomiting. And I looked at her and I said, Mom, you have to tell me what's happening. And then she said, okay, well, I'm having chemotherapy for cancer. By this time, she'd had 1 breast removed already.
And none of you knew about it?
None of us knew. So then, I was confused. So we spoke about it and I put all my resources. Thank God I had a great job. I was signed to a record label at the time. My husband is not badly off. So, we started to take it privately to make sure that everything was good. But the road was hard for her because she'd fought with cancer for quite a bit and said nothing. But nobody said that, when you get to that stage, that's it. So I didn't know. I just thought I could do anything, like money, whatever it is, whatever you do. So I'm even taking her to dermatologists so her skin would be great. It's like, I was just doing all those little things that, and she was, she was dying apparently, but I didn't know. And then she decided to go back to Accra she said she's coming back here for some, she wanted to just see people and then come back for the treatment. She didn't come back for 2 months. So I called and said, Mom, are you coming? She says, I'm coming. 2 days later, they called me and said she's in a coma. So that next day I was at the airport to come to Ghana. I came. Somehow she came out of the coma the day I landed. I knew it was because of me. But anyway, I like to think it's because of me. And then she was sitting up when I rushed to the hotel, gave her a hug. They discharged her. But all this time, the doctors knew she was dying, but they didn't tell us. So I took her home on the Sunday. Monday, I bought us a ticket to bring her back. I bought a ticket for us to leave on the Wednesday. She died that Wednesday evening. So when I had cancer, there was no man that's going to tell me that I had to hold on to my best just so he loved me. I'm saying, be on your bike. I grew up like sitting in my own room by myself reading a book. I'll do that again, and I'm lucky enough to have 5 children, so they're around me. So, but my husband is amazing. He just really, happy.
How painful was the experience? Laughing with your mother 1 minute, the next moment she's off. The next moment, she's pronounced dead.
It was the hardest moment. You see, I try not to cry. I always make light of situations just so I don't cry, because I just don't, so you're naughty, you're trying to get me there, it's not going to succeed. Yeah, it was the moment where when she collapsed and we put her in the car to take her in, she kept going in and out of consciousness. The cancer traveled so much that it's a fluid in the lungs that killed her because she couldn't breathe. And I had my son on my lap, and we were in the car, like racing to the hospital. There's no ambulances in this country, which is shocking. And then it was even worse. And I'm like, I kept screaming at her, "Mom, wake up, Mom." And then she'll look at me, and then she'll come up. And then, so when we got to the hospital, I jumped out of the car, called for the stretchers to come. They brought the stretcher, put my mother on it, and then I saw she drifted again. So I screamed, and I almost dropped my son. And she looked up at me like, it's my, that's her baby. She loved my son. She looked at me like, and then that was the last I saw of her. And then she just was gone. My mother was pretty much everything to me. I would talk to her like 8 times a day. She would, tell me, am I sleeping with my husband enough? What styles are you doing? Are you raising your leg high enough? Are you cleaning yourself? It's like we had those kind of conversations, and I missed it. And I felt like she cheated me out of getting her better. Sometimes I actually do see her. It's really, really weird, but I do. And I think she sort of talks to me when I'm doing some naughty stuff, because she's behind when I'm naughty. Let me put the blame on her. She's not here to defend herself. But, but she, I just live through her. But the what ifs are plenty.
Well, when it comes to what ifs, we all have a lot of what ifs. So we'll be right back after this commercial break.
Restoration.
Come on, keep up with me. Let's go. I'ma keep winning till the world stops spinning. I'ma keep winning till the world stops spinning. I'ma keep winning till the world stops spinning. I'ma keep winning till the world stops. Independent women, let's go. Keep up with me, come on. Winning till the world stops spinning. Keep up with me, come on, let's go. I'ma keep winning till the world stops spinning. Independent women, come on, now let's get it. I'ma keep winning till the world stops spinning. Africa, you feel me? Come on, now let's get it.
New styles from Darling. Find your beautiful.
GTP, timeless.
Breakfast good day, every day.
Nestle, good food, good life.
This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
We are a people of choice and preference. Our choices determines the quality of our lives. Our preferences depends on vast reasons. Hisense has all the reasons.
Hisense Inverter Fridge is very elegant. Efficient cooling system that keep your food fresher.
Hisense means quality, long-lasting quality.
Hisense AC is energy efficient. It's super chill and it does not make noise.
Emmanuel Adebayor at the goal is at the
Watch all your seasonal football matches on Hisense TV. Only Hisense gives you 5 years warranty. Hisense everyday prices for everyday people.
Hisense. Life reimagined.
Breakfast good day, every day.
Nestle. Good food, good life.
This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
I remember the days I just couldn't go to the gym because it was that time of the month. Yas extra long sanitary pad took the worry away. Easy.
Yes, comfort, I got yes, confidence, I got yes.
The new Yas Extra Long Sanitary Pad is the joy of every woman. It is extra absorbent and fits perfect. Don't allow anything to hold you back when it's that time.
Wow.
Yes, yes, yes.
Feel confident, stay fresh.
Hi. Is it supposed to be that time of the month?
Yes. I got yes, confidence, I got
Yes.
we got yes, protection, I got
Yas Extra Long Sanitary Pad for extra comfort.
we got yes, protection.
Breakfast good day, every day.
Nestle. Good food, good life.
This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
Okay, welcome back. So it's now time for our Hisense Super Crazy giveaway. Let's go find out who our winner for this week is. Hello, Jenny.
Yeah.
Atu, where to say?
Boko.
Whether they are high and bad, Hisense for Anna Swam Ewo. Now, you have to say, open restoration pa. It's her. Open chemi. That will be so her chemi. But they're here and that a year of fepa.
Yeah, touching the pie. I believe the beer. Oba now out means
triplets.
Triplets. So okay. Ni krugu yeah. No fret. So person dey ni krugu kasa. They said, "Omu who kwai on the first waka share no." Wow. Na etwe no. Mutie ni nyama de sa touch me pa ni say. Mutu kwa ko ni krugu mu bra onim ho hwi. No, that touching me pass. So now sometimes me sure me see but me who ya na me who tabu kwa ya crap no ni ho it's nice so ni mo shi
I know ni say but
no touching me pass so wow. Oh, omu ya so omu ye na me adwuma
that's nyame show enti say dey si touch e wo no yes wa touch e say na o si enti me beche wade enti wait me ya wo ye idie eh mon chayo say na omu nyina atiam we em say na e kire say sim stress here iron sa hey any madam
yes
somewhere
oh
Hisense akawasa baba
oh Hisense for me that was
iron we say so dear eye papa also we hear sim stressy eya mo hia steam ni we say so dear e be ma steam am pa steam na chew
oh me that
see Hisense for say family
me that Hisense for us me that one so us
oh
na me sure mo can see
ye mom de da wase se wo hweye na show no so eye kese nti koswa na hweye na me sure
on sure mo
hey madam em say wo be issue ni say ya
e be try
nti ye pass ma say ya na pa chop and ye na sad hey wow obi ewi ni ade no obi ti akire e benefit we nyina ya asem but we nyina timi si wa restoration so nti e de aseda kese ma Hisense say wa hu o da me ayo ni twa ase no ne hia me no
yes team
wow say wa hu say we de wa hu
yes team very
smooth we won shi obi lace ni aba beje wo so wa hu So this has been this week's edition of the High Sense Super Crazy Giveaway Moment. And you see, Jennifer really needed an iron. And we brought her an iron. So send your message. Let us know what you think about this show. And we could bring you what you want to. I've been telling you, you never know. High Sense could tell me to bring you a car. So send the messages coming. Thank you very much. See you next week. Bye.
Restoration.
Well, so that is our winner for this week. If you want to win something from High Sense, you know what to do. Go on our social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram. Facebook is Restoration with Stacey or Stacey Amwating. Instagram, Restoration with Stacey or at Stacey Amwating GH. Send us a message. Tell us about your favorite episode. Tell us some of the lessons you've gotten from this show. And you never know, we could come and visit you and you will get something amazing from High Sense. All right, Steph. So we've both tried very well to hold our tears. I mean, we've done well.
Yeah.
After the what ifs, you had your life back. Everything was going on very well for you. Successful music career, because you're huge out of Ghana. I mean, when you go to the UK, Stefanie Benson is no child's play. I mean, sometimes when something is very close to you, you take it for granted. Mm-hmm. But when you go to the UK, you're like Diana Ross, you're like Tina Turner, you're like Beyonce.
Hey, really?
Yeah, that's how big you are. But you know, sometimes when something is close to you, you feel, oh, Steph, mm-hmm. So over here, we might not see the momentum that that name carries. But if you travel out, if you do your research, you know that you're no child's play. How did it affect your career?
I mean, just as a singer or
as a singer, as an entertainer,
having children. Well, my career started really young. I was 17 when I was 18 when I was signed to a record label, and it sort of just I actually even didn't think I could sing. So, but that wasn't my name then. It was the Princess. I didn't use Stefanie Benson until later. It's only I was a pop artist, so. And it was a lot of fun, but it wasn't really who I wanted to be. But my record company thought that's what they wanted me to be. And to be honest, they were right. But at that time, I used to listen to R&B and jazz, and I wanted to be able to do those kind of music. But my voice did not lend itself to that kind of music, because Americans were doing it so well. Mm-hmm. So they actually knew what was best for me. But you think you know better, and and I was lucky enough to have quite a few hits, and I decided that I didn't want to do it anymore. Mm-hmm. So I told them I wanted to leave, and they said if I left, I couldn't take my name with me, and I said, fine, whatever. And I walked away because that's my problem. I'm a little headstrong. When I want to do something, I just do it. Yeah. The money did not dictate to me. So I decided then to start singing in pubs and clubs. Like doing the odd. And I had a name at that time, and that's when I changed it to Stefanie Benson. And so when people who knew me would see me in pubs and clubs, they would think, bloody hell, why don't you just hit in the charts like here you are? But it didn't bother me because I loved to sing. So I would sing in the pubs and clubs and various places, and I started doing bigger events. And then within a year of doing it, my career just shot up in the sense that I started getting like some of the huge stars wanting to book me, because I learned my craft right from the grassroots. Mm-hmm. Most people, when they have a big name like that, they come out, they think, I'm bigger than, but I didn't want to be that person. I wanted to be able to work at what I wanted to be. And starting from the pubs to create a name for Stefanie Benson was very important to me. And then I was doing big shows, and next thing I know, I have all kinds of people calling me to come and do, the royal family. I had a chance to meet Stevie Wonder. I've met, Smokey Robinson. Name it. So I've been in those and I've been called to come to studio to write songs for, people like Tina Turner. So I've been just very, very, very lucky. It's because not lucky. I worked bloody hard. And all through this, I had children. So my first child came at 22. and then the next one at 24. So in between, I'm working and I'm, you know, I always say without the children, I'd have been like a billionaire and extremely famous. But without them, I wouldn't be me. So, you know, I think it worked well for me. I never really went as far as I wanted to get in my career, but I've been lucky enough in the circuit to make a fantastic name for myself.
So with a history of cancer in your family, were you ever scared you could be hit?
Yes, I mean, actually, you see, I don't scare easy, but the history is not really a history. Let me explain, because my grandmother died of breast cancer, my mother died of breast cancer. But when I had the gene test, it said it was negative, which means I was under 20% chance of getting cancer. So why was it happening? Because, you know, my aunt died 4 years ago from bowel cancer. My other aunt died from breast cancer. So I would imagine, yes, I've lost pretty much all my aunts. I only have one left, and there were 8 of them. So it's a bit, you know, most Ghanaians would say, hey, be na a bad family, you know, somebody is like, put a curse. And for a while, I actually sort of thought, maybe, should I believe it? But yeah, I don't believe stuff like that. I just think, you know, if you're strong enough, nothing can get to you. You guys, we believe all these kind of, you know, I believe in God. And because I believe in God, I don't believe anybody else can touch me, because I'm his daughter. He's looking after me. Why is there a higher power than him that can get to me? Only if I allow it.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't allow that to even enter into my space. So when I found out that I had cancer, I mean, I knew I was going to be okay, because when they told me, I'm thinking, cool, all right, what do we do? The doctor said, well, we can have a lumpectomy. And I said, listen, take both breasts off. It's fine. I have no problem with it. I don't need it. It's fine. You know, I want to be alive.
So they had it affected both, or you just did not want to risk anything?
I don't want to risk it. It affects only one. I didn't want to risk it. I just said, just take the both and it's fine. And the doctor looked at me and said, are you sure? I said, absolutely. I looked at my husband and I said, are you gang ho? He went, of course. I said, yeah. So they took it all out. I recovered, started to do a reconstruction. And when it touches it, I make the right noises. So he thinks it's like real. It's like, yeah, you know.
Oh my goodness. How difficult was the process? I mean, every healing has stages.
Yes.
There are times we just pretend everything is all right for those around us to feel okay, but really we are not that fine. Were there moments you felt that way? Were there moments you wished you had given up a little?
No, I'm not. It's not in my character to give up, but there are moments when I actually I caught myself one day in the mirror, and I was okay. I was sort of getting used to it, and my daughter walked in the room, and that was a hard moment, because she just here we go. She looked at me, and you know, I wasn't crying or anything, but when she looked at me, she then started to cry, and then I just, you know, it was a little hard, but I think that was the only moment that I actually cried. But I remember at one point I was downstairs walking around, because it was hard for me to walk after the surgery, and I saw I heard something, and I went up to look, because my house has got like 3 floors, and I walked up and I saw my son. I think he'd seen he'd seen my daughter crying, so I think he was crying, and that was hard, because I mean they'd seen me really happy for a very long time, and I'm like, you know, joking. You had to do that, didn't you? Bloody hell. And he was crying, and my children really, you know, they're like me, really strong, and so when I saw that broke me. And I think that was just that moment, and I just let it go.
What of your husband? Were there times you would look at him and feel sorry that your condition had maybe put his life on a hold for a while?
I have to say, it was very selfish because I really did not want to take his feelings into my space at all, because I needed to let it be about me and my children. So I felt like if I took on how he felt, maybe about my breast, that would affect me.
Okay. And that'll be too much for you.
Yeah, because then it would be like, okay, this is 26 years at the time. Maybe I'm not enough for him now. I don't have breasts, but so I didn't really want to think about it. I mean, I would walk around when I sort of got better. I'd walk around without my bra, and I'd wear like a really skimpy pants, and I wear like a long lingerie, and I start dancing in front of him, like let's have sex, right? You don't mind all this, do you? And then he laughed with me, so we just laugh about it, and I he knows I'm very ticklish, so I said, you don't have this, tickle me or something, there's other parts of me that work really nicely, you can spend more time there than there. So when I had the reconstruction, and they gave me some nipples, but they failed. Well, one failed, and then I had just one that they reconstructed. I mean, it's just visually nice, but it does nothing. I don't feel anything, So every time he's, maybe kissing me, you don't mind me talking like this. He's kissing me, and he goes to the one that has no nipple. I just move his head. I say, bring it back here. Oh my goodness! Don't do that, man. Move. I said,
Oh my God. But it's amazing how you just laugh about some of these things. Yeah. I mean, if you want to suck it all in, trust me, you're going to lose your mind.
Yes. Yeah.
And I just love how far you have come. I mean, your journey has been beautiful. You show it off like it's nothing. Sometimes you make cancer feel like a normal headache. And I mean, it's important for every woman to understand that, yes, it might look bad, but it's not that bad. You just need to be bold to go out there, get checked, know what is really happening. Maybe it's not as bad as you think it is.
No, the secret is catching it early. See, we worry so much about these, about something that we don't see yet. But if you see it, I always say God has revealed something to you. So when he reveals it to you, why are you sitting there not doing something about it? He's telling you, do something about it. So here it is. I found something, do something about it. And then you sit and then you allow it to kill you just because some either family or your boyfriend or your husband makes you think that without it, you're not worth anything. Yeah. I just think that's cheating God. If you catch it early, you don't have to lose your breast. You can just have a lumpectomy. My choice was my choice. You don't have to follow my choice. But if you leave it longer, that's when the choice is taken away from you. And then you'll have to have your breast removed. The chemotherapy stage and the radiotherapy stage is hard, yes. But we have children. Listen, we're pushing 10-pound babies out of our bits. And then we go back and have sex and do it again. I mean, really, if you can go through all this, the pain of childbirth and even carrying a child, you don't think you can go through chemotherapy? I mean, we can. Just take one day at a time. I always say, take one day at a time. It's tough. You'll lose your hair. It will come back when it's all over. So my nail hair, the knuckles here, all black, and all of this was really black. I was ashy. It's all, and I was still coming here and doing talk shows. You guys didn't know. I was still doing my chemotherapy, and I had people insult me from left, right, and center. So you can imagine how that didn't affect me, because I'm thinking, hey, if you had any idea what I'm going through.
And they didn't know what you were battling.
I know. So I just used to like smile when I read some of the insults and think, there you go.
I'm sure they'll say you're bleaching.
I know. It's like all of that kind of stuff. I can bleach. Listen, my mother looked almost half caste, actually, so of course it's the only one who's dark in in the sisters. Wow. We're all very sort of light skinned. So I don't. But you see what I am, I'm very clumsy. If I show you my knees, you laugh.
So what inspired the Dear God song?
Oh, the Dear God. Dear Lord, I know I'm not perfect. I lie to myself that I'm full of conviction. Amen. I'm trying hard to be your angel, your shining star. I know that I'm able. Amen. If I listen, I'll hear your direction. I ask to be under your protection. Amen. I know your love is unconditional. I know I've got to be your miracle. I love you. You are my one and only.
I watched the video and I felt the song was coming from a deeper place.
Yes.
I felt it was not just any other song. Mm-hmm. And the beauty of it was having your family,
my children,
in the video. That was something. What was the inspiration?
Well, I have a very good friend. His name is Bernard, and he said, whatever I'm going through, I should put it on paper. And I'm a songwriter, so I would sort of put down what I'm thinking, and and my prayer to God, and I would pray to Him, and by praying to Him, I put it as a song. So I wrote the words, and I'd sing it, and he heard one of them, and he said, listen, you've got to just put this down. And I sang it I called my children in. I said, listen to this. And they said, Mom, let's just go to the studio and record it. I mean, I have a studio in my house. So we just went to my other home in the country, and we stayed there for like a week, and we just recorded the song. And at the time we shot the video, I was going through the healing process, and I was like, if you look, they couldn't even get makeup to make me look a bit brighter. I was so gray in the video, and we shot that video just with backdrops in my basement. I have a cellar, so we just had the backdrops, and we just shot the video, each of us, and the girls they just loved it, and the boys were just so hilarious. If you see the behind the scenes, you laugh your head off. Because I'll get up, because my son at one point is like, okay, Mom, what's the words? And I'll get up and I'll jump out a bit, and then I'll have to sit down and say, Mom, please sit down. I mean, please.
You're still healing.
It's like,
just take it easy.
And I'll sit down a little bit, and I'll get up again, and I'll be like this. And I'll say, Mom, please sit down.
I heard the first line, I'm like, wait a minute. That is some song.
Because, we're not perfect. Yeah. We all make mistakes, and sometimes we think we're doing the right thing, and maybe it may not be the right thing.
Yeah.
And I was just saying, we're not perfect.
I love how you spoke about perfection, because every time I'm about to do this, they all expect to get something. You see, I'm not perfect. So let's see how it goes today. It's time for our Hisense super crazy giveaway moment. Let's see if I'll be perfect today. Let's see. Hey. Okay, so while it goes round, so I'd like to say a very big thank you to our sponsors, Darling Hair, Ya Sanitary Pad, Milo, Hisense, Hooch Corn and Choco Flakes, to our donors, Jim Ray Estates. And Jim Ray is giving you the chance to own a land. And this land is located 15 minutes from Kaswa and is the West Palm Hill community. Thank you to Ophelia of ABS Collection Dansoman Zodiac for my outfit, to Abiba Locks East Legon for my hair, to GH Beauty Artistry for my makeup, and she's also responsible for Stefanie's beautiful makeup, to Stacy's Boutique GH for my shoes. We're saying a very big thank you to all of you lovely studio audience. I've been very nice today. So let's see. I know I'm not perfect, but maybe today I've been so perfect. What do we have? We have a winner! Whoa! We have a winner with the Eyemuya. Eyemuya. Oh, thank you, sweetie. Let me see. It's congratulations. Oh, please. I had 10. Let them see you. So she is our studio winner for this week. The Hisense Super Crazy giveaway. Me pacho pebia. Next recording. It was also Baha live. Congratulations, darling. Okay, Stefanie, it's your turn.
Check it out.
Yes, you have some long local name. What's that name?
My African name.
Yeah, your African.
Ekuya Henewa Esienim Akotokre Akwasohema.
Hey! Okay,
the kind
and Nana Mesro, you
got every day to my husband. Oh, let me make pink, but it's okay. I'll take this one.
Okay.
So, is this oh, wow. Hisense kettle. Who gets that?
You get that.
It's for me?
It's for you.
It's for me.
Yes. So here we go, darling.
Oh
this is
God.
from Hisense to you. Thank you very much
You're
for
so
coming.
Kind. Thank you.
You're so kind too. And thank you for sharing.
No, it's
thank
a
you
pleasure.
for sharing. We are not done with you. From Lexter Ghana Limited, we also have this hamper for you.
Wow.
Yes.
God. Excellent. I don't wash you.
Wait, washing machine crying is cinema.
Oh, brilliant. Look at all this. When you facing my pampas, oh.
Okay. Pacho eye. So we have our restoration souvenir for you.
Heaven.
You have your personal pillow and a mug.
That's so cute. Okay, this you have to put on my head. That's what I only to her.
My apostle
say.
So it has been very interesting. Stefanie has been our guest for this week. Next week will be another interesting episode. So make sure you're sending your messages to our social media platform. You never know, we could come visit you during the week. Always do remember, you can do all things through Christ who strengthens you. We'll see you next week.
Welcome to the end of the tunnel. I see a bright light shining through, and it's just for you.